The mark of the beast is a chip that creates a boil on your hand, and it will happen. I'm telling you, I saw it.
How are more people not talking about what is happening in Bangladesh right now? Because it is actually wild. So
genuinely scary.
What do you think it was? Do you think that was just a prank? Do you think it's actually somebody asking for help? Or like that guy just standing there, it makes it seem kind of weird, right? Is either staged or some people think that it's a skinwalker. I don't know. On the second video, that could be, I don't know. Like at first I thought it was a cat, you know what I mean? But I don't know, if you listen closely, it does sound like somebody's asking for help. Now, is it a person asking for help? That's a different story. So you guys let me know what you guys think it was in the comments.
The mark of the beast is a chip that creates a boil on your hand, and it will happen. I'm telling you, I saw it. Whenever I was in tribulation with the Lord, people were trying to fake this little chip, and it's a lot like Neuralink. If you know what I'm talking about, go Google Neuralink. It's like messes with your brain. Okay? When the people get the chip, the mark of the beast, it creates an alternate personality. It alters your personality. It makes you calm. It sends out endorphins to your brain to make you calm. I'm trying to warn you, this is coming. I don't know if this chip exists yet, but it was very, very small. And instantaneously, when you get this chip, your body reacts to it. And I try to warn you all that people will seek death and they will not be able to find it. Because when you try to do anything to harm yourself, okay, in any way, or harm anybody else, it sends a signal to your brain somehow and calms you down. It makes it where you are like on dopamine and it's like all happy but you're like, they're like zombies. They're not there in their eyes. And I warned everybody that they will use the drones by the thousands, searching the whole area always to see if your chip communicates to the drones in the sky. This will take place. And if you do not have a chip, whenever they scan your body and you are basically without one, they send the authorities to come and find you, and the drone stays on you with all kinds of technology like infrared and all kinds. You can't run. You can't get away from it. Okay? So it hovers over and it flies around and follows you the whole time until the authorities find you to give you the chip, or you get your head off. And they don't even give you a chance. You either take the mark or you're done. Okay? So this is what I was shown, and I'm trying to warn you all. It's coming. Jesus Christ is coming.
Now, this video gave me the creeps. One, because it's talking about the mark of the beast. Second, because who's talking about the mark of the beast? Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but that guy is the same guy that predicted that there was going to be an attempt on Trump's life. And he predicted everything, including that they were going to miss and that it was going to hit his ear. He was going to be alive and that he was going to be to Christianity and all that stuff. Well, it all happened. I hope he's wrong on this one about the mark of the beast, or I hope that when it happens, I'm long gone from this earth, because I really don't want to suffer through that. And I'm sure don't want my relatives to suffer through that either. So I don't know. What do you guys think? You think that we should be preparing, or do you think that this hopefully will not come to happen? Let me know in the comments below.
how are more people not talking about what is happening in Bangladesh right now? Because It is actually wild. So this week, massive protests erupted across the country. So in response, not only has the entire population been placed under a curfew enforced by the military, but the government also ordered the closure of all universities and have completely shut down the internet and all mobile services to try and stop the unrest. I mean, can you just imagine if your government shut down your internet? That's a country of over 170 million people now cut off from the world. That's wild. And it's literally turning into something you'd see in a movie, because now they've stormed a prison and broken hundreds of people out. The government is being hacked by a group called The Resistance. And on the official website of the Prime Minister, it currently reads, "Stop killing students. It's not a protest anymore. It's a war now." What they're referencing is the 105 people so far killed in these protests, according to an AFP count. So you're probably wondering, what has caused all of this? Well, Bangladesh have a job system in which more than half of government jobs are reserved for specific groups. And out of the total, only 44% of them you can actually get hired for based on merit. And when you have a country where over 40% of the youth are neither working or in university, jobs really matter. Some students want this job system abolished, while others want it to remain, which is why things have turned so violent and words like civil war are floating around now. But the only reason I even found out that this was going on was because hundreds of you guys messaged me. And it's just crazy that things like this can happen in the world and you can just go unaware.
The reason why we're going unaware is because the mainstream media is not reporting on it. They don't want the public to know, because, you know, if they see that somebody else in another country is actually like protesting and going against the government, they don't want their own people to get any ideas, if you know what I mean. But that is some crazy stuff, man. Like, they push them to the limit. And when you push people to the limit, sometimes they push back. That's all I'm saying.
Right now in Bangladesh, it's absolutely wild. The police have imposed a strict curfew with a shoot-on-sight order. Some official government websites have been hacked. It's estimated that 800 inmates have fled from prison. On Thursday, the government imposed a nationwide shutdown of its internet network. Take a couple minutes, read up on this. Seeing what's actually happening right now in the world can help you visualize how to prepare, preemptively.
We should be preparing in case the same thing starts happening elsewhere, because I don't know, but something tells me that coming this November, things are going to get really uncomfortable here in the United States. So, but just in case, get a few months worth of canned goods, water.
These 3 Mandela effects from kids shows are about to make you so mad. Don't say I didn't warn you. The first one is Mr. Rogers. Why they gotta mess with Mr. Rogers? If you've ever watched the show, then you know. It starts out with, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood." Except no, it doesn't. Not in our current reality. In our current reality, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Yeah, this, not the. Like, what do you mean, this neighborhood? I don't even live in that neighborhood. I just think the neighborhood because it's everybody's neighborhood. So yeah, if you remember It's a Beautiful Day in the neighborhood, not this neighborhood, then you probably jumped into the same parallel reality that I did. And then we've got Arthur, everybody's favorite aardvark on PBS. Another theme song. Hey, what a wonderful kind of day where we can learn to laugh and play and get along with each other. Except they never said laugh and play. The line in our current reality has always been work and play, where we can learn to work and play. Those kids aren't working. I mean, the brain had a job at that ice cream shop at that one time, but like that's not the point. So if you remember laugh and play and not work and play, then you jumped into the same parallel reality as I did. And finally, we have Lamb Chop. This is the song that never ends, 'cause it goes on and on, my friend. Did that sound familiar? If it did, then you're not from this current reality, are you? Because here, it's the song that doesn't end, not the song that never ends. That's an important distinction, and I'm mad about it. So which ones of these did you remember? I need to know.
I have a bad memory, so I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments if you recall the songs being one way or the other. So you guys let me know if it's a Mandela effect or not.
How does marijuana and the use of marijuana, smoking, ingesting, how does it affect the body? And can a consistent intake of marijuana be maintained and still live healthy?
Well, you brought up a good point. Now, when you smoke something, think about this. It changes the molecular structure. Okay. And you're inhaling that into your lungs.
Okay.
So that's a situation to where those who smoke have to deal with that particular kind of residual. And what I mean by that is that molecular structure has now changed, so the best part of the plant is gone. When you use that plant in another way, there are benefits. There have been extractions, like I said, from that particular plant to do many beneficial things. However, but smoking something, you lighten it up, changes the structure. So it may give you something, but the benefits of the plant itself, there's far more that people don't talk about. But smoking in general, that is one way. That's one option for some. But if you're looking for the total benefit of the plant, because I'm for the plant, I'm looking at plant-based information here. And so when you talk about what it does aside from that, there are so many more benefits that we need to, as a community, talk about.
I think she's tiptoeing around the question because I think she wants to be on the safe side and just talk about that by burning it, you changing its molecular structure, but she's not telling you the inhaling all that smoke is also messing up your lungs. I mean, if you want to consume the plant, like there's other ways, right? You could make brains, you could extract the oil and use it in cooking, which is a lot healthier than smoking it, because even if you're smoking and those particles are going into your lungs and it's clogging your lungs, man, it's like might not be as harmful as cigarettes, but it's still smoke going into your lungs. That's all I'm saying. I'm not an expert, so that's just my uneducated guess.
If Atlantis was Antarctica and they had such a high level of civilization, right? How high a level? Look at the Baalbek platform in Lebanon. The stones in the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, which we still can't figure out how the hell these things were moved and positioned, they're in the hundreds of ton range. The biggest ones are in the hundreds of ton. At Baalbek in Lebanon, there is a platform which consists of 3 1,300 ton stones. They're 1,200 to 300 tons a piece.
Yeah, we've gone over these on the. Can you pull up those Baalbek
And they
monoliths?
are raised on top of a 40-foot platform of smaller megaliths, right? Which, like, who does that? I mean, if you're going to drag stones this big, wouldn't you use them as the foundation course and then put smaller stones on top? No, these people apparently decided to show off by lifting these 1,300 ton stones, these trilithons, and putting them on top of smaller megalithic stones. And again, just like at Giza, just like at Tiwanaku in Bolivia, just like at various sites in Peru.
Look, is that one of them?
Yeah, well, no, look, that one that's just by itself.
The second one in the middle, yeah, with the red lines. Yeah, zoom in on that.
Yes, but I want you to go back to the other one too. Yeah, you can see the scale of a person next to those. Look at the one above there, how small a person is next to those.
Go up.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the scale of that. But if you could go back to that one that was buried.
Oh,
yeah, okay,
guy.
right there,
That
okay?
one.
Now that is in the quarry where these stones came from.
Yeah.
That quarry is 50 miles away from the site.
Yes.
50 miles. How did they take 1,300 tons, 19 cranes of the highest industrial grade that we have today can't lift and move one of these. They've done the engineering calculations. How did they move that thing 50 miles? You know why that's buried there? Because they wanted to tell us that that's where the quarry was, and that they've somehow managed to move that stone 50 miles to build the platform at Baalbek. All right, here's my point. That gives you a sense of the level of engineering capability of this civilization. It's beyond ours.
Way beyond ours.
Way beyond ours.
The problem is there's no saw blades or toasters or anything in the desert out there.
And there's no large-scale evidence for this civilization other than these megalithic structures.
Nothing.
In various places in the world. You know where I think there's going to be a jackpot of a plethora of evidence for it? Under the ice of Antarctica. And here's where I'm going with this. If you're a civilization that advanced, why do you isolate yourself to Antarctica? Why would you do that?
Right.
You tell me. Any thoughts why you would do something like that?
Why you would isolate yourself?
Yeah, you have this level of technology, right? And after the cataclysm, you go around the world and you build these various megalithic sites, which leave a record of the level of your technical achievement.
How do we know it was after the cataclysm?
Well, we know Giza was after the cataclysm.
We do?
Yeah, I mean, the ground plan dates to 10,500 BC. And if you line that up with Plato, and you line it up with the end of the Ice Age and the massive flooding, it's just after that cataclysm that site was built. Also...
You're talking about the Great Pyramid?
Yes. Well, the 3 pyramids and the Sphinx, and there are other structures like the Osirian at Abydos in Egypt. They're all in the same style. They're all in this anonymous, high-precision megalithic style.
That's one thing that puzzles me. Like, how did they move those stones? Like, I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, they were rolling them on wood rollers. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, what piece of wood is going to support a thing that size? I mean, if you have multiple ones in a row, I guess, but like going uphill, you saw the hill where that thing was being brought out of? Like, how are you going to set up rollers up that hill? Like, and to go all those miles? Like, with people actually pulling that? Nah, man, I don't buy it. They have to have some type of way to lift those things that we don't know about. That's the only thing I could think of. Or like they said, it was a really advanced civilization that's no longer here. Either way, it's fascinating. But like he said, like if they did move to Antarctica, why would that be the case? Why would they just pick up and move away from everything and leave behind all those structures? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, please. I would like to hear what you guys think.
This card on the left, charismatic leader. It looks like Donald Trump, right? This is Donald Trump. Now, the one on the right, I've been seeing forever and thinking, man, that also really looks like Donald Trump. And it's called Enough is Enough. Let's look deeper at the Enough is Enough cards. Here's the picture of Trump pumping his fist at the rally, overlaid with the card, and it matches perfectly. And then below that, the first sentence is, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. If this isn't being pulled out of demonic prophecy or the Akashic records, then nothing is.
You can't set something like that up. You can't.
This is the card game that predicted 9/11 and the Pentagon getting hit by a plane. Like, there's something supernatural going on here that is beyond coincidence.
I don't know. That does seem a little bit supernatural. If it predicted 9/11, predicted the Pentagon on 9/11, and now that figure looks just like Trump, and it's talking about like snipers could take you out at any moment, it's either they said that they're taking this from, like, they're getting that information from some supernatural means and making it into a game, or that's not a game and it's just their play-by-play plan that got leaked. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you think it is.
Story time. Guess who found another weird CIA document that's on CIA.gov? Me. Approved for release in 2001, this CIA document goes over human paranormal capabilities. And it's 99 pages, but guess who read it for you? Again, this guy. You're welcome. So in the document, it talks about a lot of different studies that were done in a certain province in the East. Most of these studies were done because of documents and cases from psychologists that began in the 50s. And if they started shit in the 80s because of the 50s, it's probably been going on longer than we think. Anyway, it found that people could influence each other's dreams intentionally. People could break and then mend things psychically, and it was recorded on electron microscopes, electromagnetically. They found that people could heal and diagnose each other psychically. It goes on.
If this is true, let me know, because I will save a lot of money on medical bills if I could heal myself mentally.
Seen that? Go back some. What? Go back a little bit, then zoom in so they can see it. All on the Ring camera detection. Now watch this, the next one. What the hell? Pause it on that. Yo.
He lit up the whole street. Look how big this thing is.
Yo.
If it's really caught on that Ring cam, then that's good evidence of maybe an abduction happening or possession. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think that one's real.
Have something that will take the mainstream history that we have been force-fed since day one and rip it right in half. So here we go. The photo description states that in the summer of 1903, construction continues inside the entrance to the Palace of Machinery for the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, the 1904 World's Fair. The date of this photo is in 1903. The fair in St. Louis was in 1904. So this would all make perfect sense, except there's a massive flaw. A flaw so big that it's undeniable proof that this building was constructed 100 years before the 1903 date that we are told, and proof that there was a mud flood that ripped through this building at some point after 1803. Where is the foundation of this building? Incredibly detailed construction projects do not take place on top of dirt and garbage. This, in my opinion, is the most incredible photo that I have ever seen to this point. A lie right in our faces, saying that this was being built in 1903, when we have multiple dates of 1803, time-stamped right on the building. Multiple times. Not only that, but you can see that the mud flood damaged the bottom of this building here. The mud came after the construction, not before. And I want to make that point very clear. This is a cleanup project, 100%. After this World's Fair, they knocked these buildings down. Not because they were pathetic, but because they held dates that do not fit in our mainstream timeline and architecture that we cannot reproduce today. It's incredible. I've been talking to many people, engineers, construction workers, architects, and more about this photo. They are telling me that this is undeniable proof, and at this point, there isn't an excuse in the book that could save the mainstream history. It's time for everyone to wake up to the nonsense that we have all been force-fed to believe. Oh, and we're just getting started today. Welcome to episode 49 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day.
I mean, this video does put a wrench in their narrative that they constructed all these buildings when it does have a date on it. So I guess, yes, there were buildings constructed many years before they claimed that they constructed those buildings. Either those buildings are true and have the correct date on them, and that's why they destroyed the building, or that image is just AI generated and the video is fake. But I'm no expert, so you guys let me know in the comments what you think.
The reason that all your computer screens are blue lit, the reason none of them are red lit, the reason none of them pay attention to circadian biology is because that original technology was developed in a government program that Bobby Kennedy knows about, and I happen to know about because I went to medical school at LSU. For those of you who've never heard about Operation Paperclip, you think it's all conspiracy theory. So at Tulane Neurology and Tulane Neurosurgery in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, the CIA started a program there where they would do all these crazy things to monkeys. The CIA wanted to see how they could control things utilizing different things like drugs and things like that. Where the neurosurgeons got involved, which is my clade, we would drill tops of the heads off, put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? So he checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors. Then the CIA took it to the next level. They said, well, since this is electromagnetic radiation, what if we did it through light through screens? And it turns out you can. And that's the reason why all your computer screens have the frequencies they have. So why is this all important? Well, the person that set this meeting up between me and Bobby is the patent attorney that made sure that Google and Meta have those things so they can control the things that we all do. Where did the original idea come from that started off in MKUltra with the CIA? You're going to be surprised when you hear this. It came from the mafia in Las Vegas. They wanted to build a new city in a desert. They enclosed it all, blacked out the windows, invented slot machines that were blue lit. And they found out that they didn't have to take a gun, stick it in your face to steal your money. Then they even got smart. They said, let's give people free alcohol while they're doing that. And they found out they got the money quicker. And that's when the CIA got the idea to start this program. That's really how it started.
I guess that's our cue to start buying blue light canceling glasses. If this is how they're influencing our spending and other things, then I don't want to be part of it anymore. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Hollow or Middle Earth theory states that our world is not simply structured with the inner core, outer core, mantle, and crust like we've been taught, but instead is hollow in the center, containing oceans, landmass, and possibly even life. This theory actually expands by stating you can actually get there through holes at the North and South Pole, or by traveling deep within cave systems that are located all over our world. In my last video, I spoke about how an ocean that was bigger than all oceans on the surface combined was discovered 700 kilometers beneath Earth's surface. But in 2023, there were also underground mountains that were discovered near Earth's core that are 5 times bigger than Mount Everest. Now, this is not by any means hard evidence that the Earth is hollow. But if it took this long for scientists to know that there is water and large land masses inside the Earth, couldn't they have missed other things? I mean, even a well-known admiral named Richard Byrd got on live TV during the 50s and stated that there was another landmass beyond the South Pole that had never been explored before. I want you to listen to what he said for yourself, and then leave a like if you want me to provide evidence for Hollow Earth.
Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this Earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. Strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing.
I think there's definitely something underground. There has to be some type of cities, because if you think about it, the safest place for people to build back in the day would have been underground. If they found some type of cave and the cave was large enough so that you could build cities in there, I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, it will keep you safe from the elements outside. It will keep you safe from like disasters if they're happening outside, as long as the caves are, you know, the structures are good enough so that they won't just crumble. On Admiral Burke, what did he mean from Middle America? Because if he's talking about the South Pole and the North Pole, is there a Middle America that we don't know about, or is he talking about the actual middle of America? Because for all I know, Antarctica is really far from Middle America, so I don't think he will be talking about that, right? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments below.
The gentleman with which I was associated was approximately 3.5 feet tall. He had a dark brown appearance, very ruddy appearance to his skin. He was in a highly pressurized clean sphere. 3.5 feet, large head in comparison to torso, large bulbous black eyes. The whites of the eyes had been selected out, so it looked like a large pupil, basically. When you look into his eyes, you feel like you're going to fall into his eyes forever. And I think that probably had something to do with the telepathic nature of his mental structure. He was hunched over most of the time, could not support himself fully, given muscular atrophy, and that had to do with the peripheral neuropathy under which he was suffering. He was unclothed, which bothered him. He wanted to wear clothing and was refused in every turn. Called himself captive, and justifiably so. His facial features were grotesque in comparison to what he showed me what normal would be. Nose was recessed, an extremely small mouth, a hard palate, no teeth.
Do you have any idea what his chronological age was?
622. They excrete in a manner that we would excrete. Their external genitalia are different than ours. The females have somewhat like vulva, but they have a clasper situation. The male has a male clasper, the female claspers. And if it looks like a disc with rectangular solids that are rotated into position for clasping at the inguinal region. They do have internal fertilization.
Now, this was something you read because you didn't see the female, did you?
No, this is something he showed me of his wife. Everything that he showed me when this was the incident. When he projected it into me, it felt like I was there. He was extremely depressed. If we were to term him human, I'm not a psychologist, but I think he would be termed as clinically depressed.
Well, apparently this guy met with an alien of some type that was being held captive, and this alien is 622 years old. Holy moly. Apparently this alien is just showing naked pictures of his wife telepathically. Oh, that's crazy, man. And the fact that this guy is saying that the alien that he met his face was disfigured, comparable to other aliens of his species, is really crazy. he must be rich, because for him to have a wife and being as ugly as he's describing him, let's continue.
He wept, but he didn't weep outside. He wept when he was with me.
Well, could you estimate what his level of intellect was?
He's smarter than me. He was smarter than me by a long range.
Did he have a wide range of knowledge?
The mathematics that he showed me blew my mind.
Was that right?
He showed me concurrently not only the equations for the rule of nines, but he also did so diagrammatically, and he did so with three-dimensional, like a VRML system, where I was watching cubes come together. Highly evolved, highly intellectual, highly repressed emotionally. When I was with him, I felt great happiness to be with him, but I could feel his great sadness, not only because of what he wanted to become, what he knew he was by being present with us, but where he was and how he was being treated. He was not part of the group that has to be catered to involving the T9 treaty that was just signed. He wanted to help. He was willing. When I went in, for God's sakes, I took well over, nearly 300 individualized aspiration samples from his neurological system. He would hold his arm out for me to take them. There was no pain medication. And whenever I would fire the introduction system to remove the sample, it was an aspirative avulsion system, he would cry. And then he would just stand there and look at me.
I don't know what to say on this one. Do you guys think that he's actually telling the truth, that he met with something he thinks is an alien that was being held captive somewhere, and that he felt sad because of the treatment that he was receiving? Or do you think he's making all this up? Like, I mean, I don't know who the guy is. I really didn't research it. This video just came up on my feed, so I just reacted as it came up. So I haven't had the time to find out what the name of the guy is and look him up. But if you guys know who he is, let me know in the comments. But you know my thoughts on aliens. So, and for those who are new and do not know, my thinking is I think aliens are just falling angels or demons. I mean, that's just what they seem like to me. I don't think they're benevolent beings from another planet. But I could be wrong. And remember, these are all just theories. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm not saying that it's not. I just tell you what I think in hopes that you guys go in the comments and tell me otherwise. And then we could have a conversation about it. So, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. YouTube is telling me that about 94.7% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you're watching the channel every day, just might as well subscribe. Like, why not, right? Like, let YouTube let you know when I post a new video, and hit those notification bells so that you don't miss out. All right, guys, that's the video for tonight. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Peace out.